Hi, welcome to Money Talk Viewpoint, the financial education podcast where we cater to high net worth individuals, family offices, CPAs, financial advisors, and those who service those sectors. My name is Stuart Kruse. I will be your host today for Money Talk Viewpoint. I'm founder and president of Kruse Asset Management and author of a book called License to Steal: Turn Wall Street Greed into Your Game. You don't know about Kruse Asset Management? We're a quantitative investment firm. We make all of our investment choices and decisions based in math and statistics. We feel that that leads to better outcomes. We also run a virtual family office, which is a team-based approach to managing your wealth and optimizing it, which is a fantastic lead in to our guest here today, Jena Wilson. Jena Wilson works for Elite Resource Team, or ERT, as you were going to call it for a while. It is listed as a training company, but to me, it does so much more than that. I hardly even think of it as training. Jen, I'm going to talk a little bit about your background, but welcome to your.
Oh, thank you so much, Stuart. It's so great to be here.
It's great having you. So you were a graduate of Rutgers. You worked for Bridge Wealth Advisor and Gottlieb and Associates for a couple of years, and then you made a jump to Hayden Rock Financial. So you spent a lot of time there. Before you got to ERT, so tell me a little bit of, well, wait, before we get into the nitty gritty and the actual stuff, I have a burning question for you. So everybody at ERT calls you Jena. And we were out one night with a group of people from an annual event, and you confided in our group.
I did. I confided in you, Stuart.
And you're like, I like Jen.
I like Jen. It's so funny, and everyone's taken that and ran with it. It's so funny. Yeah, my great
Your LinkedIn profile says Jena.
Yes, so, Jena is what I go by. That is my name. It's not Jennifer, but my good friends call me Jen. So Stuart, you are a good friend of mine, and I love that you call me Jen. So you can call me Jen.
I'm glad we put that. So I'm going to call you Jen from now on.
Okay. Yes, please do.
Awesome. So let's talk about your experience at Bridge Wealth Advisors and Gottlieb, and then how that led to Hayden Rock, and how those three positions shaped you for your role as senior director at ERT.
Yeah, of course. So I actually started out in hospitality. I worked in restaurants. I come from a long line of family members who are restaurant people. So started there. I kind of was sick of the grind. I was doing event planning in Philadelphia for a lot of the sports complexes in Philadelphia. So think, Flyers, Sixers, Phillies, all around there, the Eagles. And it was fun. I mean, I was around different, sports players and things like that, but I knew that wasn't the direction that I really wanted to head. So
sounds like a dream job.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a lot of fun until it's, tailgates and screaming college kids and all of that fun stuff. So I loved it. And I'll always have that passion for event planning. And it's actually kind of followed me into my role today, which is, just always kind of par for the course, right? You end up seeing these different things actually start emerging as you just evolve in your career. So I loved my time there, but I wanted to do something that was a little bit more steady. I had a more real-time schedule that I could follow throughout the week. So I started as just a secretary admin at Gottlieb and Associates, which was local in New Jersey to me here. And it was an office of about 3 to 5 advisors that I was working under. And I met an advisor who was working really closely with CPAs. And as I sort of just kind of started to get my hands on their social media and things like that, I just kept evolving and evolving. And eventually, one of the advisors there said, "Hey, listen, I really think there's this avenue for advisors to partner with CPAs, and I would love for you to help me in that initiative." So sure enough, we went and started our own firm, and then later met Paul Latham, who is one of the accountant thought leaders from Hayden Rock, Ian Wellham, who works with us today at Elite Resource Team. And we kind of just started from the ground up, working with accountants who really needed to change the way that they were positioning themselves in the accounting industry. And at that time, it was, so needed, but at the same time, it wasn't as accepted. So I was literally making cold calls to accountants saying, "Hey, I have this, really nice value proposition of helping you build your business, grow your business, and, increase your client value. And some people would say, yeah, of course I need that, and was using LinkedIn at a time that wasn't really as saturated. And it was really evident that it was needed within the accountant industry. Paul Latham, if you don't know about him, he built, grew, and sold his accounting firm for $45 million back in the early 2000s. So if you're going to learn from someone, Paul's the guy to learn from on the accountant side. He then just grew closer to Anton Anderson from Elite Resource Team. And as we sort of started more of this merging, we realized that there really was an opportunity for us to do so much more. Anton was a thought leader on the financial advising side, working with the advisors at Elite Resource Team. We were working with Paul Latham on the accountant side. And as we started to see, there was so much synergy between our two firms that in, I think, 2020, we ERT did acquire Hayden Rock, and that's kind of how I got brought over and have been here for about the past 4 years.
Yeah, super easy task to get accountants to change their ways. So I'm sure you had a really easy time doing that.
It's tough, and it was tough then, and it will continue to be tough. I think now the window has kind of been closing, so they're understanding a little bit more that, hey, I really need to make this change or I'm going to be left behind.
Yeah.
Paul knew it then. I knew it then because I was, really underneath Paul, learning from his experience. And I would say, hey, you're going to be left behind if you don't start adding this more proactive, forward-looking work. And they say, oh, no, I'm going to do what I've always done. And we still certainly get the accountants that have that same mindset, and that's okay. They may continue to do what they've always done and be successful at that. But our best accountants that we work with are the ones that really have that desire to make the change. So much, I think, of that really happened, Stuart, during the COVID-19 pandemic, where they were sort of forced into this virtual world that COVID took so many of us. And fortunately, I was already used to the virtual world. A lot of our ERT members are out in California. I'm on the East Coast in New Jersey. And so it wasn't a big difference for me, but for accountants, it was huge. They weren't used to meeting clients virtually. They had people come into the office, and that just wasn't happening in 2019, 2020, or 2020. So I think that was a really nice push in the direction we already knew it was heading. And then it made it a little bit easier to kind of say, listen, can't you see the world is changing? And we get a little bit more of that, less resistance, let's just say, these days than I did maybe back in my early days in like 2014.
Just on a call before this podcast with a group of people, and two of the people were, I kid you not, they made a comment on it. They were on Zoom, but they were about 500 yards apart in different buildings. Because it's now just easier.
Yeah, common. Yeah.
We can share and collaborate screens. You don't have to walk over. I don't have to be oddly weird, hunched over behind somebody's laptop. Am I feeling like I'm invading your space, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
it was a huge collaborative. And I have a CPA that's 2 blocks from my place, and I meet with her on Zoom much more regularly.
We're very similar. And I think, he even had a report that was released. I think it was Horizons 2025 or something along those lines that basically came out and said, if you don't start being more proactive and forward looking, you are going to be obsolete. What you're doing is not going to be something that people really value in the future. It might be something that they expect from their accountant. Hey, look at my tax return. Tell me what happened last year and maybe make some adjustments. But that's really not what I really want from a current advisor today, and what you would want, Stuart, and what our best clients are looking for. They want someone who is going to sit down with them and really help them grow their business, especially our business owner clients, who are some of the best that we have, and also just some of those mass affluent clients that really just need direction and support. They want to know the changes that they can make to be better in the future for their families and for themselves, rather than just saying, hey, this is what happened last year. There's not much we can do about it, but let's just make these changes. So when you start to think about that tax and compliance work, that so many accountants just get bogged down in the grind. They don't want to do that anymore. And if they do, then that's great. And that's totally fine. But more often what we
Dating myself probably a little bit, but this just reminds me of that Jerry Maguire moment, right? So
right.
if you want to continue to do more tax returns at $500, $750, $1,000, whatever that number is, it's the only way you can make more money is to do more tax returns or raise your prices. And in order to do more tax returns, you've got to have more time in the day, or more hours, or more or less sleep. And I think in one of our last meetings, Anton had the analogy with cigarettes kill you. Like, I really like but do I want another cigarette?
Right.
Kind of tastes good. Maybe I should have that other $500 client, but in the long run, it's gonna kill me. So I need to have that Jerry Maguire moment where we say fewer clients, more value,
Yeah.
deeper relationship, and quite frankly, when I speak to my clients,